All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome to my monthly live Google Hangout. I'm here with Brian Kane and Frank, who's the owner of Vyral Marketing. And today we're going to be talking about past client retention. And, really where the value is going to be is, the Achilles heel of any realtor's business. Doesn't matter if they're doing 150 deals a year like Brian Kane or if they're doing 10 deals a year.
Brian Kane, I'm without sound on my end.
Hello.
That's all right. Keep going.
Okay, so again, really where the value is that, the Achilles heel of any realtor's business, doesn't matter, again, if they're doing 100 deals, 400 deals, or 20 deals, is how do you get that consistent, repeatable business from your database, and how do you retain clients, right? There's a lot of lead generation systems with, whether it's Zillow or just buyer's agents making phone calls or calling FSBOs, expires. There's a lot of different ways, to lead generate, and then there's other great systems for conversion when you get the contract and then converting it to a sale. But really where realtors struggle is retaining clients, and in almost all businesses as well. So what we're going to do is interview Brian Kane today, who's definitely a master at client retention, and see what he does and what he's does so well to do that. Frank, the owner of Get Vyral, is going to chime in, and obviously he has a lot of skills and things to add as far as how to retain clients, how to stay top of mind, and really how to add consistent value, because that's really how you retain clients. Is how do you have a systematic way of creating raving fan clients? And the really only way to do that is to consistently add value to your clients. So Frank has a lot of great ideas on that. So does Brian. And then we'll talk about a little bit with what I do with the Cutco closing gifts. The real value for what I do is that only 9% of people right now, according to NAR, can even name their realtor, right? So when you're getting 365-day per year forever top of mind awareness on a Cutco knife, how is that relevant to retaining clients and getting an ROI? So that's basically what we're all going to be talking about. I know Brian's got some sound, double thumbs up from him, so he's definitely on right now. We're excited to have you. Brian Kane, owner of Pacific Cal Realty in the Metro office in Keller Williams, consistently doing over 100 deals a year for at least 4 or 5 years now, I would imagine. And Brian, thanks for being on the call with us, buddy.
Yeah, happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. And meet Frank, owner of Vyral Marketing, and Frank's going to be helping facilitate our interview here. How's it going, Frank?
Yeah, I'm doing well, man. These are cool. So I'm here to kind of facilitate questions. So there's a Q&A app here on the Hangout that if anyone has any questions about past client retention or anything for Brian or for Adam, feel free to ask it, and then we can answer right here for you. We're about 45 seconds ahead on the feed, so there might be a little bit delay before we can get to something. But go ahead and ask it, and we can talk about that. So, Brian, I know we had some challenges with your sound. I'm glad we got you all figured out, man. You sound great. Thanks for being here.
Yeah, no problem. Just had to reboot.
Yeah, man. So why don't you tell us a little bit about your business and kind of where you're at, how many deals you're doing, how big your team is. Let's give us an idea of where you're at from your business growth, or where you are, or at least maybe where you're going to be this year.
Sure. Yeah, I'll actually start from the beginning. I've actually been in the business 11 years now. I started off as an independent boutique real estate company back in 2004, so I was not affiliated with any large, big box company. And again, here in Southern California, had a lot of wind in my sails, so we were able to pretty quickly, sell quite a bit of homes right at the beginning. But on average, in 2004 through 2008, I was selling about 50 homes a year to both buyers and sellers. My business was divided up 50-50 between both sellers and buyers. When the market shifted in late 2007, really because of my family's long history in the business, I really knew what I needed to do to not just survive the marketplace, but actually thrive and go in and get my unfair share. Which was, I had to do really change some things. So one of the things I knew is, as an independent boutique real estate agent, I didn't have all the resources, the platforms, and the models, nor the accountability and coaching that I needed to really take my business to the next level, to really break through my own ceilings of achievement. And I knew I needed to find a company with the right foundation to do that. So I interviewed everybody. I interviewed all the big names, and for me, without a doubt, the best move to take my business to the next level was to get into business with Keller Williams Realty.
Wonderful.
Yeah, they're the only company out there who allowed me to represent my brand out front. As you heard Adam announce me, I'm Pacific Cal Realty Group. which is my company name.
But supported by Keller Williams is your brokerage.
An associate of Keller Williams Realty, correct. So I did, and the big reason why I made that particular move was because I was looking for a better economic model, a better lead generation model, and a better training platform for not just me, but the seven or so agents that I was supporting as a boutique independent. I can tell you that I moved my business over there in 2008, and things really started to take off for me in beginning part of 2009, which I'll get to in a second. At that time, when I made a shift in my business, I also knew I needed to get hyper-specialized and become a master of the market of the moment. So as we all know, in Southern California in late 07, 2008, that market was actually distressed property sales. Now there's 3 ways you can really get involved as a broker in doing distressed property sales. 1, you can go get some REO accounts, right? You can get buddy-buddy with the bank and get REO assignments. For me, that had a limited shelf life. You're only taking on 1 or 2 clients, right? You only have 1 or 2 banks who are your client.
You're an employee of the bank.
Yeah, essentially. And here's the thing. You're selling all those properties to other real estate agents' clients. And what we know in real estate, it's a simple game. The idea is to meet as many people that you don't know, meet them, put them in a database of people that you do know, have a systematic way of staying in touch with those people, right, Sobieski, Cutco? Have a systematic way of staying in touch with those people so that you can get repeat and referral business. And for me, the REO game didn't provide the best channel for that. And of course, as a broker, you can get involved in the flip game. But for those of us who've been flipping, at least on the broker end of things, it's a lot of work at a discounted rate. So what I did is I was steadfast in making sure that I built my business in a way that would last. So I just made sure I did what I knew I needed to do, which is to get into business with as many San Diego homeowners as possible, and in this particular case, as many folks as possible who were looking for their mortgage relief options, which allowed me to become a master of the short sale marketplace.
Great.
And so beginning in late 2007, early 2008, I made it a specific focus to do 2 things. Become a master of the moment, meaning become an expert in short sale, and only focus on listings. So I think one of the issues, that so many business owners, small business owners, and especially real estate agents face is they're trying to be, the jack of all trades and the master of none. We try to be everything to everybody. We try to negotiate one of our listings, while we're driving 75 miles an hour up the freeway to show a buyer a home. And it's not the most efficient and productive way to run a business. So what I did in 2008 when I came to Keller Williams is I focused on taking listings. I focused on making sure I knew the market of the moment, and I knew that the most important thing was that I had to build a powerful team around me that could service our buyer business. Considering that it was 50% of my business up to that point, it wasn't like I was just going to drop it. But I knew I needed to drive a powerful team to service that business. So, Frank, to answer your question directly, since 2009, I've never sold less than 100 homes every year.
That's incredible. Hold on, you went from 50 to 100 in a year?
To 100 in a year. So in 2007, I had 47 home sales. 2008 was a big rebuilding year, as I was just mentioning. I sold 34 homes, and in 2009, well, I guess I lied. I sold 99 homes in 2009, and every year after that, I've sold 104, 111, 115, and last year I sold 127 homes.
That's incredible. So let's talk about some of the things that you did. Now, there's probably a lot more to it than there is.
Sure.
But let's dive into, you mentioned the models of Keller Williams, and one of those models is the lead generation model of going out and getting a database of everyone that you don't know, which is the market. And you're in downtown San Diego, right?
Correct. Well, actually, I have 2 offices now. From 2008 until just a few months ago, I was running my main operation, out of the San Diego metro area. So that's just a part of town, just immediately north of downtown San Diego. Mm-hmm. However, I do sell homes throughout the county because I farm a database. I don't necessarily farm a neighborhood, which is something we can talk about here.
Yeah, so you got the market, and your job was to meet as many people as possible, communicate with it. Let's talk about your database marketing strategy. Can you share like what you immediately changed when you made that shift to KW as far as from working your list?
So, this business is about three things. It's about leads, it's about listings, it's about leverage. But if you don't have a systematic way of generating leads, but more importantly, following up with those leads, you're really going to end up falling short. So one of the very first things that I did was I got myself into a daily habit. And that's one thing I realized was that, for many people who may be listening to the webinar or, attend a lot of classes, I'm probably not saying anything new. The word lead generation is like, here we go again. We're talking about lead generation. I know I need to lead generate. I know I need to lead follow-up. So then what it comes down to is, what are your habits? What are your habits around lead generation? I can tell you from 2004 to 2008, my habits were, I kind of woke up at 7:30 or 8, rolled into the office around 9 or 9:30 because, hell, that's when real estate begins, right? My phone never rang before 9 o'clock. Other agents weren't calling me until 9:30 or 10, so I guess that's just when I would start my business. So one of the first things I did when I joined Keller Williams is I got over there with the productivity coach in the office. And one of the first things we talked about was changing my habits. So what I did is I set an appointment every single day with that productivity coach at 8 a.m. I came into the office. We exchanged our goals for the day. It took 30 seconds each. What's your goal for the day? Today my goal is to call 20 people and add 10 people to my database. Great, now go do it. And then from 8 a.m. to 9 a.m., I tapped into the Keller Williams network. The only people that I called from 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. were other Keller Williams associates throughout the country. So, for example, I'm in San Diego. We're a big, military town. So I was calling agents in Virginia Beach at Keller Williams and said, hey, my name's Brian Kane. I'm with Keller Williams Realty in San Diego. And I was noticing that I don't have a strong referral partner in Virginia Beach. I'm wondering if you knew of somebody moving to San Diego, do you have a strong agent to refer to? Their answer was no. I said, well, great. I'd like to be a referral partner. Would you like to exchange information and stay in touch so that we can be a referral partner to one another?
Great.
And I did that for 6 months, 1 hour a day, and I built a large network of other real estate agents and added them to my database. So again, it was the habit of getting in at 8. It was the habit of calling a targeted audience for an hour every single morning, and then having a system, aka a database, where I could put their information in. And then what I do is I send every single one of those agent referral partners around the country, I send them an email once a month, making sure that I stay top of mind in case they know of anybody moving to San Diego. So,
how many agents do you have in your referral database now?
About 900.
That's incredible.
Right.
You called them all. You called up 900 people.
I called up 900 people. Yeah. So if you do 10 a day, you do 10 a day, 5 days a week. That's 50. That's 50 a week. You can do the math on that. It doesn't take that long. It takes you 18. What is that? 18 weeks. If I'm doing my math right.
Oh, that's
so
great.
In less than half a year, you can actually grow your database by that many folks. Now, last year, 83% of my business came by referral, and about 20% of my business came from agent referrals. So that means about 25 home sales came from other agents. And I know for a lot of folks, 25 home sale may be a record year for them. So that's a great untapped resource, is developing those agent partnerships around the country.
That's incredible. Okay, so what about your database of, buyers and sellers?
So then, of course, my strategy was just that. My strategy was to grow my database to as many people as possible. If anyone's familiar with Gary Keller's book, The Millionaire Real Estate Agent, it's that best-selling Bible in real estate, so I like to call it. It outlines some pretty common denominator things, which is once there are 1,800 people in your database who truly know you, like you, trust you, that you've had meaningful conversations with, once you've got 1,800 people and you stay in touch with them on a regular basis, meaning 30, 35 times a year they're hearing from you either by text, phone, email, mailer, newsletter, whatever it might be, that's the magic formula. You should be able to with 1,800 people, you should be able to pull enough business to have $1 million real estate business, and that's exactly what happened. So I did as fast as possible. I grew that database to 1,800 people outside of the 900 people I had in agents. So I did that by attending a lot of...
Yeah, how fast did it take you to build 1,800 people in your Mets?
Well, it's taken me, I got to 1,800. I was building my database as an independent. So when I made that shift in 2008, I had about 1,000 people in my database. So in just 2 years, I was able to get another 800. So I was able to add 400 agents. By the end of 2010, I was at 1,800. So about 2.5 years, it took me to basically double my database from 1,000 to 2,000.
So you would go out, you meet someone, you'd ask for their email address and their contact, you put them in your database. What do you use for your database? What is that?
Right. So we use 2 programs. Keller Williams has got a great proprietary software. It's called eEdge. It's actually affiliated with Market Leader. And I'm now using that. But up until I switched over, I was using Top Producer 8i, which I think is a great program. So if you're not already affiliated with Keller Williams, and I would highly recommend Top Producer 8i. I think it's the best CRM program out there. Now, here's how I added those people. Every day I made a commitment to make 20 contacts a day. So the very first place I started to find new people was I called those 1,000 people in my database. Now, even if you only have 50 people or 100 people or 200 people in the database, you start there, which is, hey, Adam, Brian Kane over at Keller Williams Realty. How you doing today?
Best day of my life, buddy.
Great. Hey, listen, I was calling because, as you know, I've got a really wide network of people, not just in real estate, but just in business in general, and I know you're in the sales business. Let me ask you a question. Is there any problem that you have right now or some challenge that you're trying to overcome in your business that I might be able to help you with? What's going on right now in your business, Adam?
Yeah, I'm not getting enough clients. Not getting the clients I want.
Okay. So, and why do you think that is?
Systems. My systems aren't where they need to be.
Okay. So if I was to introduce you to somebody who might be able to help you in organizing and growing your systems, would that be a benefit to you?
Absolutely.
I know just the person who can actually do that for you. Would you mind if I sent over his name and email just to see if I can help you grow your business today?
That would be awesome.
Well, as you know, I grow my business by referral too, Adam, and if I'm helping you, I would really surely appreciate it if you could help me. Almost all of my business is done by referral. I was wondering, who do you know who's looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate today that I can assist?
I got a brother who's actually going to be listing a house.
Is that right? Hey, if your brother's as sharp as you, I definitely want to work with them. Can you give me his name and phone number?
You bet.
Okay, so that's how I did it. That's how I did it.
That's incredible.
So you can just call your database. You be a connector, givers gain. Start there, and then of course, as I met those new people, those people know people, and those people know people who know people, and that's really how I grew it. And of course,
so you really didn't do any. This isn't like cold outbound calling. You did all of this through like pure database relationship marketing.
Yeah, I did the majority through database, and of course, every time me and my team hold open houses, you may have 26 people who come through your open house, and maybe you have a meaningful relationship with 5 or 6 of those people, where you get a name, phone number, and email, and if you called them up the Monday after the open house, they remember you. They know who you are. Those people get added to my database, and we'd have a systematic way of getting into better rapport with those folks and building our database through open house. So those are the main 2 ways that we really grew our database, and I do a lot of networking, and so do my other associates. So I attend 3 different networking groups every single month. And that also helps me increase the number of contacts I'm having, especially regular contact with the same people. Those 3 networking groups allow me to contact regularly about 60 to 75 people every month who I consider my strategic referral partners. And because I'm staying in front of them on a weekly or semi-monthly basis, they remember me, they know me, they trust me, they like me, and they're helping make introductions to new people where I can grow my database.
Well, I think it's interesting. You have some agents working for you now, don't you? So sounds like you have a team of, are you the only rainmaker and assistants, or do you have other rainmakers in your office?
Yeah, so that's what I was saying. Up until last year, I really operated as Pacific Cal Realty Group, a broker associate of Keller Williams. Because of the track record of success I've built up within the company, I was recently awarded a franchise territory. So I actually own and operate Keller Williams Realty La Jolla, which is down in the Village. We've got 182 agents here that we oversee. However, that's not. However, those agents are independent contractors. They're independent from my own sales team. My sales team just consists of 8 people. It's me plus 3 agents and 4 administrative staff.
Now, are your agents doing the same methodology as how you built your business?
Yeah, and I hold them accountable to that, and I think that's the most beneficial part of being on a team like mine is, of course, everybody knows what to do. Everybody understands that they need to go out there and meet people and grow their database, but it's that accountability piece. It's that accountability piece I think that really matters. And
Absolutely.
so every single week, my 3 sales agents have to turn in their numbers, and they're responsible. They have to make 100 contacts a week. They have to hold a certain number of open houses every month, which is a minimum of 4 open houses every month. And they have to track how many contacts are converting to appointments, how many of those appointments are converted to buyer-broker agreements, and how many of those buyer-broker agreements are converting to, of course, accepted offers. So I don't act as the sole rainmaker, but I do bring in the majority of our business through the management of our database and through some other advertising means online and just.
Well, so let's talk about that. Thank you for going into how you built the database in the first place.
Sure.
Which is incredible. I mean, it's so simple, isn't it? It's just doing it.
It is. Yeah. I mean, you may have heard this before, but success is simple, not easy.
Absolutely. So you get these people in your database, right? So you have a consistent way of going out, and you got your referral partners of other agents.
Right.
And then you met people in the community by working your relationships.
Right.
So now they're in the database. Let's talk about what you send them to touch them. How many times a year does Keller Williams recommend you stay in touch with somebody?
Now this is why Adam had me on the show here, of course.
Yeah.
Because my Cutco is an integral part of that. So here's one thing that I learned early on. I actually learned this by attending a Brian Buffini seminar, the Vyral, and his Turning Point retreat. But I think sometimes people forget that one of the best things that you could do is reward people for positive behavior. Right? People do things on an emotional basis. They'll do things to avoid pain, or they'll do things to seek pleasure. And if you can reward people for doing the things that you want them to do, then you're already way ahead of the curve. And one of the things that I want people to do is give my name, phone number, and email address to other people, or call me with the names, phone number, and email addresses of other people who are looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate. So many times, someone will give an agent a referral. They get sent a thank you text. That buyer's agent now goes and works with that buyer, and 6 months down the road, that deal closes, and that agent sends a thank you card or maybe a piece of Cutco to the person who made that original referral to begin with. Now, there's nothing wrong with that, but I think it's delayed, and now you've just wasted 6 months of future referral opportunities with that same referral source. So I know I'm being long-winded about this, but the reality is reward people immediately for passing referrals, and that's where I've partnered with Adam to do that. So I have on stock at all times plenty of his knife spreaders. They're like the cheese spreaders or sandwich cutters. I forgot what they're called, but they look like a knife spreader.
Which are wonderful, by the way. I have one. I love the thing.
Yeah.
I was like, what is this? It's a spreader and a knife. I didn't get it. That's really cool.
Yeah, it's a combo. And it might sound corny and cheesy, but you know what? It works. And every single time I get a referral, and I don't care if I make the business or not, if I'm able to call that person and set an appointment, so I know it's a valid referral, whether I end up earning the client's business or not, immediately I send that referral source a knife spreader and a little note card that says, "Hey Adam, thanks for the introduction to John Smith. I appreciate you spreading the word. Thanks for the relationship and the business."
I love it.
Exactly. So that's how we do what we do as far as rewarding people for the referrals that we're giving. And then how do I stay in touch with people from there? Well, I use a system. I have my database, and it's really quite simple. I think people make it more complicated. If you've got a pen and a paper, you can do this. So if you're watching the webinar right now, do this. Write January 5th. Then write January 20th. Then write January 25th, just going down the page. and just keep going down. Now write February 5th, February 18th, February 25th, and so forth. These are arbitrary dates. What I'm doing is I'm making 3 dates per month that I'm going to touch my database. So if you have a pen and paper, all you have to do is fill in what are you going to do. So on January 5th, I already know in January 5th of 2015 what I'm doing. And it's going to be send a Happy New Year resolution email to everyone in my database. Then on February 15th, I already know that I'm going to, or January 15th, I'm already going to mail them my January newsletter. And then on January 25th, I'm going to send out a text, or I'm going to make a phone call, or whatever it is. Build your relationship management system is as easy as getting a pen, getting a paper, and just scheduling it. Once it's scheduled, then all you have to do is, right, success is simple, not easy, just follow the schedule. Follow your own schedule of what you said you were going to do every month. And if 3 times seems excessive, start with 1 thing a month that you're going to do. Then move to 2 things a month that you're going to do. And if you're touching them 3 times a month, then you're doing what you should be doing.
So you're touching that whole list of, so how many people are in your Met database right now? See, about 1,800?
No, I'm up to 4,000 now.
Good for you. Right. That's incredible.
And that should net, that should net me 180 to 190 home sales.
This is really interesting. You're an extreme. I ask to let everyone know. I mean, you're in an incredibly competitive market. I mean, how many agents are there in San Diego County?
Yeah, there's 10,000 in the board.
Yeah, so you have to have a strategy of getting those listings because there's so much competition for at least people applying, right? And you're going to hold the relationship, which gives you the one up.
Yeah, I mean, there's 10,000 in the board, and there's about 40,000 homes sold a year. So that really means that if everyone was getting their fair share, there's only 4 houses to sell per person. Mm-hmm. But I'm not about fair. I'm about my unfair share.
You're touching a database. So here's the deal. So you're touching a database of 4,000 people about 36 times a year then, right?
Right.
Is that right?
And there's about 1,000 people in there that I don't mail to. I only have their name and email address and phone number. So 3,000 people are getting touched about 36 times a year, and about 1,000 people are getting everything but the mailers. So they're probably only getting touched about 24 times a year.
So can we talk about what you're sending? Let's talk about the whole list of 4,000. What are you sending them? What's your plan?
So 12 times a year, they get a market update with statistics on the market. So once a month, I'm going to give them like a CMA type of email.
It's an email, okay.
And everyone can get this. You'll just go to your local board website, and they'll have the month statistics on there, so you can just shoot them over the month over month or year over year statistics. So I'll send them some stats. 6 times a year, they're going to get a printed newsletter from me. One cost-saving tip for everybody on the webinar is I used to send a monthly newsletter, which gets quite costly as your database increases. And what I found is if you send the newsletters every other month, people still think they're getting your monthly newsletter. It's often enough that people think they're still getting it once a month when they're only getting it every other month. And that's what's allowed me to cut my cost in half.
Do you have advertisers that help you out with the cost of that, or any other tips on saving money on that you can share?
I mean, it's not just about money, but it's about time. I think some people, we coach a lot of agents, obviously. We have 182 agents over here, and one of the things that I always like to talk about is, listen, you can be an amazing photographer of real estate. You can be an outstanding contract negotiator. You can be the best person to value property in the marketplace. Guess what? You can write the best ad copy and be one of the best bloggers in real estate out there. You can create the best content. But guess what? If you're not lead generating and you don't have people to perform those skills to, it's useless. Unless you want a job and you want to make $30,000 or $40,000 or $50,000 a year as an assistant doing those things, but there's nothing wrong with that. But if you're looking to be a rainmaker and grow a real estate business, then you need to do what's most important, which is lead generate for buyers and sellers. So here's a tip. Don't write your own newsletter. It's a waste of your time. And if you think that your clients really appreciate and value that fantastic content that you're putting in there, well, they may, but I can guarantee you that the time you're taking to generate that newsletter content can be better spent prospecting for new business. Because remember, it's about being prospecting-based, marketing-enhanced. It's a belly-to-belly business. It's about making contact with people. If you're being marketing-based and prospecting-enhanced, I'll tell you what's going to happen, Frank. You're going to invite me over to your house to list your home because I've been on the phone with you. I've called you 9 times, in 6 months. You're getting my voice-to-voice, solicitations. And when I'm sitting in your kitchen signing that listing agreement, I'll tell you what's going to happen. I'm going to look up on the fridge, and I can guarantee you there's going to be another real estate agent's magnet on your fridge. And all I'm going to be thinking is, wow, that real estate agent sure does market, but what phone call did they forget to make that has me sitting in the kitchen and not them? Because if their face is on your fridge and I'm the one signing your listing contract, I bet you that person wasn't being prospecting based and marketing enhanced. I bet it was the opposite. So do a newsletter, but let somebody else write the content.
And you're sending out about 18,000. You're sending about 18,000 a year. So if you're mailing 3,000 people 6 times a year,
right.
That's incredible.
That's costing me about 50 cents. That's costing me about 50 cents a mailer, and so that cost me $9,000 a year.
But the return is how many times?
I did $1.5 million in gross commission income last year.
Sounds like a pretty good return.
Sounds like a good return.
All right, so we got the monthly email update to everybody, all 4,000. We got the 6 times a year newsletter to 3,000. What else do you do?
2 times a year, I send out information on our local sports teams here, so I'll send out some information on the Padres and the Chargers.
Okay. Great.
And then one thing that's worked really well that I think is something that kind of has set me, really set my marketing plan apart, is I do a very, very large client appreciation party, and it's something that's grown over the years. So the first one I did was in 2006, and I did it at my office, and I invited all my past clients and all my strategic partners to my office where we had appetizers, giveaways, some drinks, things like that. And guess what? It was a starting place. It was a free venue. We had some snacks and whatnot. The whole thing probably cost me $500 to put together. And I think I probably got about 75 to 80 people there, which was a really good turnout. We really promoted it like crazy. Last year, we did our event down in Coronado, which is a beach community right on the water. We had 360 people attend our client appreciation party. This year, we're expecting 450 people. So that's a great way for me to stay in person, face-to-face with my database. As you can imagine, when your database gets that big, it gets very difficult to connect with people one-on-one. So what I've done is I've created an environment where I can get the people in my database to come to me all in one location, where I can shake their hands, give them a hug, talk to them about their family, just stay in front of everybody in a more personal way. And my hope is that over the next few years that party grows to 1,000 people, if not more.
That's great.
Host every year. So that party gives me 3 more touches because we have a save the date, we have an invitation, and of course we have the party itself. That's 3 more touches. And as you can imagine, for my party's coming up here September 19th, and between now and September 19th, part of our 20 contacts a day is every single person on my team is calling into our database and saying, hey, Adam, Brian Kane here with Keller Williams Realty, calling to invite you to a party. Now, who doesn't want to get that phone call? So, hey, Adam, I'm calling to invite you to a party. As you know, every year we like to share our appreciation for the people we do business with, all of our friends, clients, partners. So Friday, September 19th, we're throwing a great party, live music, open bar, lots of food. Would you like to attend? Let us know. And by the way, who do you know is looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate that we can help and also invite to this party who would appreciate the type of service that we give? So that's been a really big staple part of our marketing plan, because for 4 or 5 months up until the party, we have a reason to call people because we're inviting them to something fun.
That's incredible. Anything else you can share with your touch plan that you do?
And then two more times a year, I like to, all those other things that I told you. For me, I believe I'm providing value in those pieces. I'm giving market statistics. I'm inviting them to something fun. I'm providing something of value. But 2 times a year, I like to brag. 2 times a year, I brag, but that's about it. So 2 times a year, I'll send out something that I call Brian Did It Again. And it'll just demonstrate to people my track record of success. So sometime in the spring and the fall, I'll send something out like in the spring, I'll do something. Brian did it again. He sold 100 homes in 2013. It'll be a nice graphic, a nice printed piece showing showcasing all the beautiful properties that we've sold. And same thing in the fall, I'll do something again, like Brian did again. He's listed 68 homes this summer. Who do you know who may want to buy one of these great properties? So I'll do some kind of bragging, propaganda.
Do you have any examples of the marketing you send out in your office you can hold up to the camera?
Not readily available because my marketing manager handles that.
Good. Well, that's a good answer. Hey, let's talk about. I love the marketing, man, but you were talking about being prospecting-based marketing enhanced. So we're only getting part of the story for the marketing touches. So you're using prospecting, obviously, to grow the database. Okay. But now once you get the database.
Here's one thing I can show you that's going to answer your question. Sorry to cut you off. So.
Okay.
Hopefully everyone can see this. And what it is it's 100 blank spaces that they're numbered. And you can see in those spaces I've got some writing. And you can see DB, sign call, right? So one of the things I do every single month with my team is we do something called our Bold 100. So once a month on a Tuesday, we all set out to make 100 contacts in a single day. And that includes me. So what that sheet is that's just me showing you how I track those calls. And you were asking, as I'm looking down the list, we just did this on Tuesday. 23 of those 23 of those contacts is people that I contacted in my networking group. About another 45 of those contacts came from my database. About another 9 of those contacts were agent referral partners. 4 of those contacts were expireds. 2 of them were from a farm, and I have one FSBO on there. So reaching out, making those contacts, I track them. It's systematic. It's about being prospecting based because making 100 contacts in a day is definitely being prospecting based.
For sure.
Now I'm going to add that to the 400 contacts I'm going to make in a month. So I'll have 500 contacts this month, and so will my other 3 buyer's agents. So as a team, we're going to have made 2,000 contacts with people in regards to real estate.
That's incredible. 2,000 contacts a month.
And that's what
it's taking. And who are you predominantly calling? Is it predominantly? It's obviously leads.
That's the breakdown that I just gave you. The breakdown I just gave you, Frank, is pretty consistent. It's going to be database, strategic partners, networking folks, and then for my buyer's agents, they do call a lot of the web leads that we've been incubating. So we'll get leads off the internet. We're incubating, and as soon as they've raised their hand to speak with us, those are people who have built up that we're kind of incubating.
This is very helpful. This is some very powerful content, Brian.
Good.
Very good stuff. You're a natural-born trainer and coach for your team. There's no doubt in my mind about that.
Well, people can come hang out with me over here at Keller Williams La Jolla. We are hiring great agents.
Well, tell us about that. Why don't you tell us really quickly about the type of person that you want to come work in your office?
Yeah. We're looking for people who are motivated and are training based, that they're open to learning. I believe that it's important to have really 6 personal perspectives, in how you approach your business. And one of the very first perspectives is to commit to self-mastery. This is something that we get taught here at Keller Williams is these perspectives. But committing to self-mastery means this. It means learn your scripts and dialogues. Learn how to master your calendar, right? Learn how to give a great listing presentation. This is how we become a master, how we commit to self-mastery. One of the other things that we do is that we learn what our 80-20 is, right? We've all heard this before, that 20% of our efforts give us 80% of our results. And in this business, if you give 20% of your time to lead generating, the rest happens. 80% of your results will come from just a couple of things, from lead generation and lead follow-up. So I'm looking for agents who want to commit to self-mastery, learn their scripts and dialogues, learn how to time manage, who understand and will commit to doing the most important things in their business, which is lead generation and lead follow-up. People who have an interest in going from what we call E to P. These are people who want to go from an entrepreneurial style of doing things to a more purposeful style. Adam, when you first got into the business of selling knives, did you only rely on your good looks and your gift of gab to sell?
Certainly not. There were systems and scripts and all the rest of it that I followed.
Right, but that wasn't like that from day one. From day one, I'm sure the very first day you tried to sell your first knife, you used charm, personality, that people like you, all of that, correct?
You bet. And
when you sell a knife today, it's because you've used a more systematic approach. You're scripted.
Yep.
You've got your objection handlers.
Yep.
Right? You're calling specific targeted groups of people.
Mm-hmm.
So while Adam, just like all of us, have our own natural ceiling of achievement. Our natural talents are going to take us so far. And some people, like Adam Sobieski, are extremely talented, and they'll do things really well naturally. But everybody has their own ceiling of achievement. So we're looking for people who want to bust through their own ceiling of achievement by learning, by coming to training, by being accountable, and using. How you get purposeful is you said it, Adam, you use systems and models. So at our office, we offer systems and models that people can use so they can bust through their own ceiling of achievement. Something else
Brian,
that we do? Go ahead.
Hey, real quick, I want to let everyone know I changed the title of this. I think I found a better title earlier. You went from 50 deals to 150, didn't you? What was it?
127 is my top so far, yeah.
127, my bad. But you really went from 50 to 127 deals, right?
Correct.
And you pretty much did that with the foundation of a database marketing approach for the most part.
Yep, that's right.
Reaching out to people in database marketing. So I changed the title of the event. Johnny was asking how San Diego Realtor Brian Kane went from 50 to 127 deals with database marketing. And it really was, that was the foundation of pretty much for the most part how you did it, of at least focusing inward to a list, right?
You can change the title to how Brian Kane went from 50 to 127 transactions by prospecting daily into his database.
Well, how about database prospecting? There we go.
There you go. How to farm your database. We got lots of titles here.
There we go. Is that a good title? With database prospecting, I love it.
Yeah, that's right. Prospecting-based, marketing enhanced. Back on track, just to finish my thought here, we can move on to another topic. And by the way, what I'm giving you right now, it's not a solicitation for Keller Williams. This is how these are the perspectives. This is how I've been able to achieve the things I've been able to achieve in this industry by committing to self-mastery, understanding what my 20% is, and staying in that 20% of lead generation and lead follow-up, busting through my own ceilings of achievement. I've made being learning-based the foundation of my business plan. I spend $20,000 a year to have a coach, attend trainings, corporate trainings, to attend real estate trainings. I attend weekly trainings still in our market center so that I can stay, extremely sharp and competitive as the markets shift. And then the last two things, which I think are always the hardest for everybody, is to remove our limiting beliefs. If there's some of you on the webinar right now who says, "Oh yeah, no wonder he's doing this. He's got a marketing manager." Yeah, I would do all this too if I had a marketing manager. Well, guess what? That's a limiting belief. Because I didn't always have a marketing manager. I started just me. And over time, I added the things to my business that were necessary to continue to grow the business. I bet some knife salesmen out there say, you know what? If I was as good looking as Adam Sobieski, I'm sure I'd sell as many knives as him.
Fact.
Fact. Guess what? Limiting belief. You can look like Frank and sell a lot of houses.
That's something to be said about that.
Something to say about that. All right. Hey, just giving you a hard time, Frank. But last but not least, you know, you got to be accountable, and I think that's the hardest piece. I know one thing that I offer on my team is accountability to my agents. I know one thing that we offer here in our office is an opportunity for people to be held accountable to their goals. Because I'm sure when Adam wakes up in January 1st and he says, you know what, I'm going to sell 5,000 knives this year. That's my goal. I'm going to sell 5,000 knives, and I'm going to add 50 new clients to my database. You know? Well, who's holding Adam accountable to that? That's his goal. Does he have help? Does he have a peer partner? Does he have a coach? Is he in an environment? Is he in a culture of accountability and productivity? I hope he is, and I'm sure he is, which is why he's doing so well. But, you know, that's why I spend $1,000 a month to have a coach that I talk to weekly. Just making sure that, you know, as I progress, that we're not getting way off, that we're staying really tight within the goals that we're trying to achieve.
Okay.
And that's my formula for success, really, is those 6 personal perspectives.
That's great. If there's any questions for anyone watching, go ahead and ask them up on the Q&A. I know we just had one about the title, so I retitled it if anyone's here. Because you really are branding. You are creating raving fans through a database through branding. Right. But I think something a little more interesting is you really had such an amazing jump, and it's interesting that the jump was from 2008 to 2009, literally from the bottom of the market straight up. And I think it's also very interesting, too, how you're doing a good number of business, and you're like, okay, I have to retool. And what, your business got cut in half almost during your retooling year at the bottom of the market, and then it took off.
It did. And during that time,
great story.
Yeah, and what I did during that time is I had some other real estate agents who I was supervising, but we weren't working as a team at all. Everyone was kind of just out for themselves. So I actually completely went down to scratch. I actually let go of every single person that I was overseeing except for me and my assistant. So in 2008, that was a complete retooling year. I sold 37 homes, just me and an assistant, and built my team and started hiring team members in the latter part of 2008.
That's
which
great.
Built up the momentum for 2009.
With the last time left, is there anything you could share about maybe process-wise? Because you have your whole database of buyer leads, seller leads, the people you've met, and we went over the 33-touch plan for the most part of what you do to communicate with them. Maybe we can go a little more in depth of specifically what you do once a transaction closes to stay in touch with the past client that's worked with you. I mean, obviously one involves shipping a knife maybe of some type. What do you do right after the transaction? Is there anything specific there you do?
Well, because I order $10,000 worth of cut-phone knives every single year from Adam, I've got a stock of inventory sitting over at my gift basket company. And, yeah, every single closing, they get a really nice branded gift basket from me. I do a branded bottle of wine that sits right next to our branded Cutco cutlery, as well as some other just, you know, munchies and things. So people get a really nice gift basket with things that they can reuse. Of course, those knives have my logo and my website, briankane.com, engraved on the blade. And then, of course, we stay in touch. So, you know, after they close, they get their gift basket, and then they stay on the 33-touch. So they're going to get the newsletter. They're going to get the phone call. We just had a nice closing down here at La Jolla Shores yesterday at $2.6 million. And you better believe it, I'm going to invite those people to my client appreciation party, and I'm going to ask them to bring as many of their friends as possible.
Mm-hmm. That's great. So I don't have any more questions. We can go ahead and stop there, unless usually the last part's for Q&A. We don't have any Q&A questions coming in. But as anything else you'd like to share, Adam, how does someone get a hold of you if they want to incorporate knives into marketing?
Yeah, if they want to get a hold of me, they can call me on my cell directly at 760-310-6714. Or they can just email me at adamscutco, which is CUTCO, @gmail.com. If they don't get a hold of me because I am going to Alaska for a fishing trip on Saturday, they can call my office manager. Yeah, they can call my office manager, Jamie, 619-665-3693, and she can get them on the calendar for an appointment with me, or she can help them directly.
Brian, what's the first step for someone who may want to, as an existing agent at another brokerage, and may want to kind of try out KW and see what they have to offer, or maybe someone that is thinking about a new career in real estate? What's the first step they would take in Illinois for you?
Two things. If any agents out there, the very first thing you should do if you haven't done it yet is get your database organized. And if you don't have a database, get one. And all that means is go through your phone, go through your Facebook, and start getting one place where everybody's name, phone number, email, and address is recorded. You can do it on an Excel spreadsheet to start. And guess what? If you don't have their mailing address, even better. Now you've got a reason to call. Hey, Adam, Brian Kane here at Keller Williams Realty, just updating my address book. I noticed I've got your phone number and email, but I don't have your mailing address. What's the best mailing address for you? Oh, by the way, who do you know is looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate that we could help today? Start there. Beyond that, you want to learn the systems, the models, the mindset, the perspectives, the vision. Then you can always call our office at 858-731-8000 and ask to schedule a business consultation with Stephen Robbins, our team leader here, at 858-731-8000. Stephen Robbins can help you transform your career and give yourself a pay raise before 2014 is over.
Great. Well, everyone, thanks a lot for the Hangout. It was very valuable. There's going to be a summary of everything that was discussed written up, and that's going to be posted here on Adam's page. And Brian, your knowledge was very good. So thank you for sharing all those great tidbits with us. We appreciate it.
And Frank, you're not that bad looking of a guy, buddy.
Thanks, I appreciate it.
Brian, thanks for the great content, man. Appreciate your time, buddy.
Bye-bye.